I'm Justin Pritchard, and we're going to do some M5 stuff in this video. Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. We've got a special video for you today. We're taking a look at the ultimate BMW. This is the M5 CS. The BMW M5 CS, or Competition Sport, is not only the highest performing M5 ever built, it's also the fastest and most powerful car that BMW's ever made. Under the hood, a retuned 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 makes 627 horsepower. That's 10 more than the M5 Competition, which sits below it in the model line. The M5 CS also ditches 100 kilograms of curb weight thanks to extended deployment of carbon fiber body parts, a carbon ceramic braking system, and two-piece M carbon sport bucket seats, 4 in total, that give each occupant supercar support for high-speed cornering while cutting a few pounds. And that is what supercar seating for 4 looks like. You can even see we've got the map of the Nürburgring racetrack on the headrest here. Further weight reduction comes from the removal of some sound insulation and obscure parts like the center console storage bin and cover. From the basis of this more powerful and lighter platform, engineers set off dialing the M5 CS in. To capitalize on the improvements made to create the ultimate M5, they recalibrated the chassis for the new power-to-weight ratio, making sure the driver benefits handsomely from the upgrades. The M5 CS gets stiffer engine mounts for more direct power delivery to the road. There are firmer springs, revised ball joint mounts, increased front negative camber, and a 6mm reduction in ride height. That's all to bring the handling, response, and character of the vehicle in line with its improved power-to-weight ratio. They've even retuned the electronics that control the suspension system to ensure that it too is fully able to benefit from the upgrades. The point is, this is not just a slight increase in power output and a body kit. The retuned chassis and revised parts and programming ensure that it delivers what this car's shopper wants, a unique new driving experience to try. Launch control will see you rocket from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. Listen closely and you'll even hear some gears whining through the floor as shafts spin, clutches grab and release. And torque is divvied up and metered out between and across the axles, giving each of these P0s exactly as much power as it can transmit to the road at any given moment. With less sound deadening and the stiffer engine mounts, you feel and hear more of what's going on under the floor in the process, and launching this car hard is an incredibly mechanical experience with comically violent forces exerted on the occupants. At full throttle, the M5 CS serves up thrilling surges of explosive propulsion. You're never more than a throttle poke away from stirring up the sort of unrelenting thrust that signals experienced drivers to get their eyes way up the road. Full throttle sees the M5 leap, then surge ahead as the turbochargers get up to speed. The effect is a linear and rapid build to maximum output, as if you've lit the fuse on a rocket. Here, a deep V8 roar commands your attention without deafening volume levels as the forward scenery is inhaled at a horrifying rate. Stopping power works to similar effect. Once familiar with the carbon ceramic brakes in a track setting, you'll be staring down impossibly short braking zones with confidence before each corner. Warn your passengers, though, that acceleration can border on uncomfortable. Programming of the stability control system in sport mode takes a hands-off approach for even moderate slips and slides, as more novice drivers get used to the car. Keep your performance driving basics in mind, and the stability control sits on its hands unless you really muck something up. It's an enjoyable combination of safe and fun that encourages you to explore the limits with confidence in an appropriate setting. Finished? Just click the M5 into its most laid-back setting and glide home as you relax and take in some tunes. Despite its track-ready spec sheet and console racing game styling, my tester was a surprisingly relaxing highway cruiser. I spent 8 hours and hundreds of kilometers on a road trip from central to northern Ontario via highways 469. After this portion of my road test, with an afternoon of highway cruising under my belt, a few important impressions came to light. At a good clip, the ride is smooth and steady. There's a sports car feel that shines through, especially when larger bumps or dips reveal just how tightly this machine keeps its body sprung against its wheels. Still, the adaptive suspension keeps dramatic body movements to a minimum. That makes for a ride that's less busy more of the time, which means occupants are more stable in their seats more of the time, and therefore more comfortable. Even beyond the highway speed limit, the range of a full tank of fuel seems more than adequate for a day's cruising, and noise levels are hushed sufficiently so there's no need to raise your voice for a conversation via Bluetooth or with an adjacent passenger. Steering is heavy enough to lock the M5 CS confidently between the lines, but quick enough to perform a lane change with little more than a half-inch twist of the chubby suede steering wheel. The engine's massive low-end torque adds to the effect via a similar response from the throttle. From the driver's seat, the result is a car that's capable of making enormous movements on the road with just a few millimeters of input from your fingers or toes. And though the carbon bucket seats will be challenging for some drivers to get in and out of, I noted no issues with comfort or support even after 8 hours of cruising.
So I'm going to show you how I deal with getting in and out of these seats. You might be different, but
Here's how it works for me.
you have to watch this. If you are of a certain anatomy, you'll have to be careful getting over this. As you can see, this is very solid. There's no give there. What works best for me is to sort of pivot over my outer leg like that. And then I do sort of a quick hop and twist like this into the seat. And that's what works easiest for me. And getting out's kind of the opposite. Swing one leg over and then tip yourself out. And actually, once you're seated, these are very comfortable. I did about 8 hours on the highway without any issues. I will note, if we look here, there's no perforation on this leather. And what that means is that on a really hot day, because these seats are not ventilated, you may get a sweaty back when you arrive at your destination. But I promise you, it'll be worth it.
Once you're in and settled, these racy perches are more comfortable than you think. While the easygoing side of a car like the M5 CS is important, it's not why you're cutting a check. So on the other side of the equation are numerous racy cues that work to constantly remind drivers of its immense capability. That all starts before you're in and seated. The look screams custom. From a glance, you notice the cues, the color, the body kit, those beautiful bronze wheels. Applied to such a large vehicle, these have tremendous impact when it comes to turning heads. As the M5 CS moves down the road, it looks like a custom modified rocket sedan that you might unlock in your favorite racing game.
So down here we have the mode button and the setup button. When I press the mode button, I'm just toggling between different drive modes. We see road, track, and sport. If you want to go into the track setting, watch this. You've got to actually hold the button down for a couple of seconds, and it's going to show you a disclaimer because this car is very serious about you not using track mode on a public road. And you can activate track mode like that. You can see it's actually powered down the central screen and the audio system to allow you to just focus on what's important, which is the road ahead and these race car looking instrument displays.
Though its personality as a whole seems more road-ready track sedan than track-ready road car, the point is, the M5 CS gives drivers the ability to select and deploy their ideal combination of noise, power, hair trigger responsiveness, and handling based on the sort of driving they want to get up to. Now, the highest return on investment in this car will go to drivers planning to participate regularly in closed-course driving in a motorsport setting. But it is also a whisper-quiet touring car that's friendly enough for everyday use if you like. And while violent acceleration and G-forces are always within striking distance, the M5 CS's highly tuned handling and steering and potent braking system make sure drivers feel engaged and supported and encouraged by their new hardware, even in situations where most of the 627 horsepower aren't going to use. The point is, this is a car built for extremes, though it's also a joy to drive briskly along your favorite winding back road or highway on-ramps by way of how it moves over its wheels and how quickly and precisely it translates your inputs to the road. Importantly, beyond the easily triggered mayhem, there's a sense that the M5 CS is happy to entertain regardless of your skill level. Enthusiast drivers and track day novices like yours truly will find plenty of capability to grow into as skill levels and experience increase, and you're in for a hell of a show along the way.
Thank you for watching. My name is Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you never miss a new upload. And until next time, take care and drive safe.